All
You're
right.
on.
All right, my friends and gems. So here we are with Dr. Staci Holweger, double PhD. She's my business partner and the head of our group here with regards to cellular activation. Dr. Staci, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us here today. I'm excited about going over this research study that talks about the benefits and the double-blind testing of the X39 patch to determine that GHKCU is actually activated. So tell us, expound your wisdom on us about what are the key things that you're aware of that X39 does?
Thank you, Lillian, for having me today. I'm excited to share. I love talking about this technology. I've been utilizing this myself personally and in my practice with clients and, of course, with other doctors and practitioners all over the globe for the last 3 years. And I love what X39 does, how it works, and how it helps everyone, no matter what is going on with you, from 2 to 92 or 102, no matter what your age, this technology has a benefit. And I personally feel like out of all the things, and Lillian, I know you're into all the things holistic, health and wellness, all the different alternative modalities. We're always searching. We have been our whole lives, right? For tools in our toolbox. And I have found this to be the most effective tool in my toolbox out of everything I've ever seen. It is so accessible. It literally goes anywhere with you and goes right on your body, anywhere, anytime, any place. It is affordable, really affordable, the price of a cup of coffee or less a day, especially coffee out in California, right? So I'm down here in Florida, not much difference, but a little bit. But it's non-invasive. There are no contraindications or side effects or interactions. So what I like about it, number one, is that it's safe, that it's effective, it's accessible, it's for anyone and everyone, no matter what age you are, no matter what's going on with you. So I want to say that first. And I love that this is a wearable light technology that activates my body's own ability to get into homeostasis, to be able to repair and regenerate whatever is needed, and actually to reverse functionality of anything that could potentially be, going down that path of aging, which we don't want to do, right? We want to keep our body young and youthful on the inside, healthy. And for me, it was about prevention in the beginning. That's what I've always been into: prevention, longevity, vitality, overall wellness, anything that I can do to keep myself at that young, youthful state. And I found this to be very effective in that over the years, 3 years now, in being able to keep me in that young, healthy state on the inside, right? That's what really matters, is how my organs and systems are functioning. But for someone that's just learning about this technology, like I said, this is a wearable light technology. It's non-transdermal, doesn't put anything into your body inside of this patch. And of course, this research study that you have here, that's double-blind, placebo-controlled, peer-reviewed study. This, of course, goes in depth in what is happening with this patch. But basically, it is what we call photobiomodulation or phototherapy. This patch utilizes my body's heat or light that I am emitting and actually reflects off the patch, because embedded in the patch is a crystal lattice structure that's reflective. That's what our inventor has invented, what's inside of this. And so that reflects back a very specific wavelength of light. And that wavelength of light, as you can see here in this study, has very profound changes that occur inside of the body, hence photobio, right? Photo, light, bio, body, modulation, change. And we see that this patch significantly increases a peptide in the blood. And this peptide, you have thousands of peptides in your body. We are born with them, of course. The peptides are nothing more than chains of proteins, amino acids. They're the building blocks of your body. But we know this patch elevates a specific peptide, GHK, that does decline as you age. And it has a lot of things that it's responsible for. You can go to PubMed and type in GHKCU and see a list of research papers and the benefits of GHK. We're not injecting it, of course, even though you can inject it. We're not doing that. We're activating our own GHK, elevating our own GHK with light. but we can see the changes in the blood in as little as just a 24-hour period, right? On day 2, we can see an elevation, significant increase in GHK in the blood from using this LifeWave X39 patch. And then, of course, going on to a week, right? And seeing that at day 7, concentrations increase, right? With a significant increase in that p-value in GHK. So what does that mean for you? That may be significant or it may not. What does it mean in layman's terms for experiences? What am I going to notice when you elevate GHK? Well, the first thing I'll tell you that will happen that you won't notice actually is a reset or an upregulating of genes. When we elevate GHK, it actually upregulates over 4,200 genes, or improves their functionality, right? The way they express back to their young, youthful, healthy state. That is very significant. You won't feel it, right? I didn't feel it when I put the patch on day 1, or even through day 6 or 7. You don't feel your genes upregulating. You don't feel them resetting back to their young, youthful state. But we know that's what's happening. We can see that in these studies as we're monitoring people's progress over weeks and months and years of time, actually. But one of the things people do report early on, sometimes even in the first couple of days, is they notice a better quality of life as far as how they feel, an overall sense of well-being that is improved. Like, I just feel a little happier, or I just feel like doing a little bit more, or maybe I don't feel like taking that nap. Maybe I have a little bit more energy today, a little bit more mental energy. I have people tell me all the time they get more done in 2 days than they've gotten done in 2 years, just because they feel this overwhelming sense of, I can focus, I can concentrate, I have more energy, physical, right? More mental energy, more clarity. People also notice pain reduction, sometimes in that first 7 days. And sometimes it takes a few weeks before you notice that. The patch is applied anywhere you decide. It's up to you. Now, based on this study, because it is double-blind placebo, we utilize CV7, the bumpy part on the back of that vertebrae back there, CV7, or we utilize below the belly button. In a controlled situation, we have to place the patches in the same place every day, right? But for those of you that are using the patch, you can apply X39 anywhere you want on the body. It works no matter where you apply it, because our whole body is emitting heat or light, so it's working systemically to activate that peptide and to really turn on those cells that are responsible for repair and regeneration in your body. So pain reduction is something people notice. Something else, Lillian, is quality of sleep. People notice a deeper sleep, more of a REM sleep, right? And we know people as they age, that declines. And so helping them to get into that deeper REM sleep is something people notice too. And the other thing they notice is faster wound healing. I am shared all the time pictures with people that are, they've been in accidents, they've had surgeries, they've had injuries, whether it's a sprain or a cut or, something. And you can just see that we can see a 40% reduction in the healing time in people after an accident or an injury that are using the X39. That's substantial. I have a young scuba instructor that was a competitive swimmer her whole life. I'm interviewing tonight, and she's shared her pictures with me today. 9 days. 9 days. I could not believe this gaping, huge gash that required, multiple stitches on her knee, straight down her knee from a lava rock in Hawaii. And then boom, 9 days later, it's like closed up, smoothed up, and she's back in the water again. It's just amazing what happens when you use this technology, which starts that process of helping the body to get into balance, of course, from day 1. And as we use the patch over time, we see more of what we call a compound effect in the body's ability to repair and regenerate. So we put the patch on in the morning when we get up. We leave it on 12 hours, we take it off, we throw it away, or we put it on our pets, and we get up the next day and we put on a brand new patch. You'll do this based on your age. So we recommend a month for every decade you are old. as your starting point. So if you're in your 50s, 5 months, 60s, 6 months, 77 months, or, Lillian, I'm over here at 3 years. Now, obviously I'm not, hundreds of years old. Why am I still patching? Well, I could be, you'd never know it with the patch, but why am I still patching? I'm patching because of that compound effect that's taken place over time for me and the way that I feel, and knowing again about that prevention and vitality and longevity and that overall wellness is a tool in my toolbox. It's the same reason why I drink healthy, clean water every day, and why I exercise and get movement every day, and I go out in nature every day, and I have my prayer and meditation time every day, and I eat clean food every day. It's a tool in our toolbox. But I love that this study shows that, your average age on here of 60 people were between 40 and 80, right? This is where most people start to feel those aches and pains and sleep issues, and the metabolism slows down, and the memory, cognition changes. And so we chose this, age group for that specific reason, to see how they would respond, from the beginning through. This is, talking about a 7-day period. But we, again, can see a substantial, significant increase in that GHK across the board. And if you go through the rest of this study, it's going to give you all those parameters of what things were, what the participants were noticing and looking at during this study. So it's just a fantastic study.
Fantastic, Dr. Staci. The last thing I would like you to address in this last minute before we have to leave here, and I really appreciate your taking time out of, I know you've got business in 82 different countries globally, so there's a great demand on your time. For people who say, I've been wearing the patches for a few weeks now, but I don't really feel anything. Maybe it's not working for me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I get asked that all the time. We are conditioned, unfortunately, Lillian, to believe that I have an issue, right? I have a symptom, and I'm going to take a pill, or I'm going to do this, and it's going to make it go away right away, right? I just want the symptom gone. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel that. I don't want, I want what I want, and I want it now. Right? We're kind of like toddlers in that way. But the way this works is different. Regenerative medicine is the area we are focused on here. And regenerative medicine says that I'm going to regenerate. So if you think about, for example, in the inventor of this technology, David's research in the beginning, he talked about using planaria, right? Little worms. And you would chop the head off the planaria, and it should grow back. It typically does in like 17, 18 days. It's common with a planaria. Well, using this technology, he could get that head to grow back within 24 hours. Wow. So I want 24-hour result, right? Well, we're not planaria. We're a little bit more complex than planaria. Yeah. So it's going to take a little bit more than 24 hours to grow back your head if we chopped it off. Honestly, though, that wouldn't even be the case. So think about long-term problems. Think about something you've dealt with, like the root cause of the problem. Has it been 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 20 years, 30 years that you've been dealing with this? To think that something would create a dramatic change in as little as 24 hours, let alone, a couple weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, even 6 months. That's really unrealistic, honestly. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to feel things along the way with the patches. Of course you are. What you're going to notice is going to be different than someone else, because we're all different inside, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. All of these things play into what's happening with our genes, what's happening at the cellular level, what's manifesting in our muscles, in our organs. And so we have to be patient with the process. We know for a fact that nothing changes with the cardiovascular system. That's another study you can look at. Nothing changes with the cardiovascular system at all in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, or week 5. It is not until week 6 that we can see changes in the vascular system functioning 8 weeks younger. And you don't feel it. You're not going to feel that, Lillian, but it's happening. So I want you to think about this. You don't feel your hair growing. You don't feel your blood flowing. You don't feel these changes happening, right? You don't feel your liver regrowing, right? Your liver's always repairing and regrowing. We don't feel our fingernails growing. There are things happening in our body, inside and outside, every day that we don't feel. Like, you don't think about your left big toe. until I just now tell you to think about your left big toe. And then you're like, oh, there that thing is, right? And so be patient with that process and how you experience the patches, and be okay with the fact that it may take 3 weeks, 6 weeks, it may take 3 or 6 months before you actually feel something different in your body. But know that change is happening no matter what. Every day you apply the patch, we are activating this peptide. We have a patent that states we are elevating this peptide and we are activating those cells that are responsible for repair and regeneration. We have a patent that says that. And so this is actually happening on a scientific level. We can see that, we can prove that, but it's also happening to millions of people around the globe, all at different rates. I ask you to not stop patching until you receive your miracle. Whatever that miracle is, whether it takes 2 days, 2 years, however long it takes, be patient with that process. Time's going to go by no matter what. You're either going to get older or younger.
Don't stop patching until you receive your miracle. There you have it, my friends and gems. Thank you for tuning in, tapping in, and turning on. And as usual, if you'd like to get more information, put a comment below. We'll be sure to get back to you. Dr. Staci and I are both here available. We have a pool of incredible, extraordinary talent, experience, knowledge, more letters in the alphabet in terms of degrees than you can ever imagine. So thank you for tuning in, tapping in today. And as always, ciao for now, my friends and gems.